having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're really getting into the action surrounding the recent Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is our source material. It's basically a reflection of what people were actually searching for online during this big hockey showdown.
Exactly. So think of this as, well, a peek behind the curtains of public interest. Our mission is to quickly unpack the key names, the teams, the general buzz based purely on that search data.
And it really starts with the matchup itself. The sources point straight there.
They do. It immediately zeroes in on the Florida Panthers facing off against the Edmonton Oilers. That was clearly the main event in people's minds.
Well, it is the Stanley Cup Finals, the absolute pinnacle of the NHL playoffs, right? So searches like Stanley Cup Finals, NHL playoffs, they were everywhere. Shows the scale.
And the timing of those searches is kind of fascinating. You obviously see tons for 2024 Stanley Cup Finals. That makes sense.
Sure, the current event.
But then you also get these hints of maybe forward thinking or just anticipation. Terms like Stanley Cup Finals 2025 pop up. Even who won the Stanley Cup 2025.
Yeah, that's odd, isn't it? It shows how these big events get people thinking ahead, maybe mixing things up.
Or just peak curiosity spilling over.
Could be. But bringing it back to the 2024 finals, the data really highlights the individuals people were zooming in on, the specific names in the searches. That tells you who mattered.
Totally. For the Oilers, Leon Draisaitl is right there, very prominent. And then for the Panthers, you see Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, also Thomas Nosek appearing in searches. People were actively looking these specific players up.
And Corey Perry, too, often with Corey Perry Stanley Cups, which suggests, people were interested in his history, his experience. That veteran angle.
Makes sense. He's been there before.
And, of course, McDavid. Just the last name, but it's clearly Connor McDavid. You'd expect him to be huge, given his profile.
Okay, but here's a slight curveball from the source data. Brad Marchand. Marchand NHL shows up. He wasn't in the finals, though.
Right, and that's a great example of how search data works. It's not always laser-focused only on the immediate event.
So, leftover interest from earlier rounds, or just general fame?
Exactly. Could be carryover from the Bruins run, or just that Marchand is a name people know and search for around big NHL moments. It reflects a wider interest, not just the two teams playing.
Okay, that clarifies things. It's not just who's on the ice, but who's generally relevant in the hockey conversation right then.
Precisely.
So, moving beyond the players, what else were people desperate to know? Seems like, basic game info was massive.
Oh, absolutely massive. The searches around scores and results are really striking. Things like who won the hockey game last night.
Yeah, or just NHL scores, Oilers score, Panthers score. Very direct.
And even specific games like Stanley Cup Game 2 results. People needed that scoreline, like right away. Instant gratification.
And they needed to find the game, too. The how-to-watch searches were significant.
Yep. Where to watch Stanley Cup Finals, how to watch Stanley Cup Finals. Even specific streaming services mentioned, like Hulu Live TV and Sling. Shows the effort people put in.
They really wanted to tune in.
And one more thing, it wasn't just looking back at scores. People were also looking forward within the series. The prediction searches.
Yeah, saw those. Oilers versus Panthers prediction. And the reverse, Panthers versus Oilers prediction. Trying to get an edge, maybe.
Or just satisfy that curiosity about what might happen next. It's all part of the engagement.
So putting it all together, this look at search trends gives you a pretty vivid snapshot, doesn't it? Intense focus on the Panthers and Oilers, obviously. Key players drawing searches, Draisaitl, Tkachuk, Bennett, Nosek, Perry, McDavid, even Coach Maurice for the Panthers. Yeah. Plus those interesting outliers like Marchand.
Right. But underpinning it all is that immediate need for information. What's the score? Where can I watch it? What's going to happen?
It really drills down into the practical side of being a fan during a huge live event.
It really does. It's a direct line into those immediate needs and curiosities.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? In this age where we have so much information, why is it that during something like the Stanley Cup Finals, our collective digital attention seems to boil down so strongly to just who is playing and what happened or what will happen right this second? What does that tell us about how we follow big events today?
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.